you're making your little checks as, you know, when we're watching for dog aggression issues, because there's not one key component that says this dog is going to strike and bite at me. There's usually several, and you need to know what those are. The whiskers, the hackles, the growling, the lip curl, you know, the stiffening, the freezing. A dog that when you touch them freezes up is a dog you have to be very, very careful about. That is a dog that's not going to give you all the signals. They're just going to boom, it hit that bite. So, you know, you got to be able to, you know, look. First of all, I will say for when it comes down to the resource guarding in both cases, food should not be left on the floor. You go in, you're going to train. If they're getting fed twice a day, one of you guys are going in there to do the feeding, but it's not from a bowl, it's from your hands. And from that point, you're actually training with their food for a while so that they understand that food comes from a human being. It's not slopped in a bowl and there you go. When you're working with breeds that are guard dog, you know, or have guard dog in them, you're going to have behaviors that are bred into them that certainly a shelter can bring out somewhat the worst of the dog. And or the dog has these what we call drives that are not being fulfilled and balanced, and you start to see imbalances, and resource guarding is one of them. And so you have to kind of look past and say, we recognize that the dog has this breed in it, these are behaviors from the breed, but it's still not an acceptable behavior. So first and foremost, in working with a dominant dog, food is never free-fed. In other words, we're not going to throw a bowl in there and let Jetta go ahead and guard that food every time you walk past the cage or you walk into the cage and have them like, you know, that's my food kind of a thing. What more does he possibly have to do while he's locked up in there but guard his food?
If there's, you know, he's not doing that. I have a bowl and it's sitting there, and another dog. I won't. Yes. But for right now, I put it down just to see if he does that, because I do hand feed him. I have been doing that. But I've left the food down, and my concern is I have another dog.
Yes,
so
you are not going to do that.
So I've been watching them, and they've been fine.
Yeah. Here's the thing, is we could put them into another environment. Now, how long has Jetta been in a shelter?
Forever.
Yeah.
2 years.
Okay, 2 years. So let me just throw this out to you, you guys. I have worked with a lot of shelter and rescue dogs. The biggest mistake that you could do is take a shelter dog and say, here you go, into my home. You have to build them out, because the stress of the environment can be too great. I have seen it over and over and over again where they refuse to take my advice because, oh my God, that dog has been in the shelter for so many years and I can't possibly put him in another kennel. And or they're mill bitches, cranked out puppies, and then they come home and they're like, I am not putting him in a kennel. This is all the dog is ever known. You cannot just take them out of that and say, here you go. They do not know how to handle that. You're setting the dog up for potentially becoming aggressive. I've had, I've had where I've started training and I tell people, you know, it's a slow build out. This is the way we're going to do it. And I come back and the other dog in the family is dead and the humans have stitches, and I'm telling you, it happens. So you cannot just go, here's the dog.
So go slow.
Absolutely.